Hello everyone, Fred here. In this installment of TPP Dynamite, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the recently released trailer for the movie Mr. Monk's Last Case, which is, of course, the long-awaited follow-up to the award-winning TV series Monk. I promised yesterday that I'd do my best to drop this video today, and I am an incorrigible man of my word. First things first though, if you haven't already, let me encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I post film, book, and TV series reviews. I do opinion pieces on entertainment, news, and affairs. I am also an author of adult and young adult mystery novels. To date, I've released 3 books, The Women in White, The Lethal List, and most recently, Textbook Murder. They're all on sale now. There are purchase links in my video description below, and I encourage you to check them all out. With that in mind, and without further ado, I'm going to just dive right in. The trailer opens as Adrian Monk, Randy Disher, Natalie Teeger, and Leland Stottlemyre talk with Rick Eden, the movie's villain, at a palatial estate that's probably Rick's home. Rick jokes that once upon a time it seemed like Adrian was solving a major case every week. Adrian says he couldn't have done it alone, which makes Randy and the others pat themselves on the back, until Adrian says he could have done it alone, but that it would have just taken longer. Just going by the context clues and the Monk TV show's own history, this scene is most probably the usual initial confrontation between Adrian Monk and the murderer, the one where Adrian basically deduces the murderer's guilt but realizes he's going to have a fight on his hands to prove how the murderer did the murder. The one where the murderer threatens or dismisses Adrian or does both. Usually it happens or at least it has happened in the Monk TV series, where there would be a scene like that pretty close to the beginning, where the killer is revealed and Monk basically is going to have to fight this guy to prove his guilt. I spoke in my last video about how I'm not sure that giving the killer's identity away so fast and naming Rick as the killer on the part of Andy Breckman was the smartest work. I'm not going to beat that dead horse to death again about the whole villain thing that was a part of my video yesterday, but suffice it to say that my concerns about that still remain when it comes to this movie. We get a montage of scenes and some dialogue confirming that Adrian, despite having been on a promising road to recovery at the end of Monk Season 8, has been knocked flat on his back by the emergence of COVID and is essentially just as fraught with social anxiety as he was during the TV show. I'm not sure how I feel about that either in this movie and in this trailer. Adrian Monk took such solid steps to overcome his various phobias in the TV show, and to have this movie regress him back to square one so callously almost makes me feel like I watched that whole show for nothing, like none of his development then even mattered. There's a scene with Molly, who is played, of course, by Caitlin McGee as opposed to Alona Tal, as she begs Adrian to help her solve her fiance's murder, and as she claims that the murder was indeed a murder and no accident. Again, I mentioned this in my last video, but I did not like the idea of recasting Molly from Alona Tal to Caitlin McGee for this movie. Alona was perfect for the role, and Caitlin just didn't seem to fit, going by the first images that I saw of her in character when those images were released. Seeing her in this trailer did, I admit, alleviate a smidge of my concern there. Caitlin McGee did seem to bring some of the same warm, daughterly energy that Alona Tal did at the end of Monk Season 8. Only time will tell, though, if she's capable of maintaining that presence over the course of the whole film when it is released. There's a scene where Natalie is driving Adrian around in a car that has a bomb inside, and Adrian, just like old times, is fussing at her with directions about how she should handle the situation, despite that he's not lifting a finger to do anything about it himself. Again, just like old times in the Monk TV show where gags like that would occur. There are some scenes of Adrian's using his usual tricks and deductive powers to solve the case, and he even does the iconic "here's what happened" line at one point. There are some scenes of Adrian hilariously navigating life in a post-COVID world, including a shot of him in a corporate office at a hand sanitizer dispenser that has apparently been reserved for him alone. At one point, Molly jokes that because of COVID, everyone is him now. He wearily says that they're going to hate it. There are several more scenes of action overlaid with a question from Dr. Bell to Adrian about how it feels to be working again, to which Adrian responds that it's like riding a bicycle. When Dr. Bell says he's glad to hear that, Adrian responds again in true Monk format that he means it's terrifying. So yeah, all in all, I thought it was a good trailer. The meta moments and cheeky references to old Monk TV series gags all landed. Going by what little I saw, the film looks to have been beautifully shot and edited. And the cast members, especially Tony Shalhoub, all look like they had no trouble getting back into their roles even after all this time. I've still got some concerns, many of which I voiced in my last video, some of which I voiced in this video, and for that matter, like I discussed in my last video, I'm still certain that unlike the title suggests, this will not be the last Monk movie, or at least not the last planned Monk movie. This film's very subtitled, or a Monk movie, suggests an opening of the door to future installments that are also Monk movies. I can already envision a scene at the end of this movie where Monk is talking to Natalie, telling her that he wants to go back to working full time, despite the fact that he told her at the beginning of the movie that helping Molly would be his last case. And Natalie tells Adrian, "But I thought you said this was going to be your last case." And he responds with, "Well, here's the thing, it's not." I can see that happening at the end of the movie. I can see it. Either way, I remain as eager to see this movie as I was when I first heard the news 8 months ago that it was going to happen, and it looks like I'll be able to do that in 2 days, on December 8th. Commence the final countdown. At any rate, let me know what you think. How do you guys feel about the trailer for this movie, Mr. Monk's Last Case? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Are your feelings more complex? Sound off in the comments below. Meanwhile, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, click subscribe, ring that bell, and hey, follow me on social media as well. So long.